Capitol Watch. Colorado Senator Michael Bennett reacting to the reported cyber attack believed to have been backed by Russia that appears to have compromised several public and private entities in the U.S. and around the world. The Colorado Democrat urging President Trump to shore up cyber vulnerabilities across the federal government in order to deter future threats.
Reports suggest that the hackers have been in the system since the spring and perhaps much longer. And according to public reports, they may still be in our systems tonight. And we have heard literally not a word from the White House about this.
Now, it was reported this week that a far-reaching hack may have compromised the Departments of State, Energy, the National Nuclear Security Agency, and the Department of Homeland Security, as well as major American companies like Microsoft and other foreign governments. And we're watching out for you tonight, taking a closer look at that data breach, which still has way more questions than answers tonight. Our Colette Bordelon live tonight in Colorado Springs after learning more from one cybersecurity expert here. Colette.
Yeah, a big takeaway, Rob, is that this year made us a prime target for something like this to happen. Election year is already more vulnerable than most years in general, but throw in that COVID-19 pandemic and this hack wasn't noticed for months.
Pretty deep and pretty disturbing.
Colorado Congressman Jason Crow says we weren't prepared for the hack against SolarWinds, an Austin, Texas-based computer software company.
There are things that have been done that we didn't know were possible, new strategies, new techniques.
Even though many are pointing fingers at Russia, Crow says it's not entirely clear who's behind it.
As far as we're able to tell, it's actually still ongoing. We actually don't know all of the different businesses and industries that have been touched.
Earlier this week, SolarWinds detailed the hack, saying over 30,000 customers had the software between March and June, but believe less than 18,000 of them are victims.
This has the potential to impact so many things in our everyday life. Our phones, our iPads, our computers.
On Twitter, Crow went as far as to call the hacks a cyber equivalent of Pearl Harbor.
They could spy and collect information on everything from the election to the coronavirus, development, technologies, all over the world.
Dr. Sean Walls has worked in the cybersecurity world for 2 decades and says the purpose behind the hack was to gather intelligence information. You may know that as espionage.
This type of response should not affect our local business community.
He says the SolarWinds software is mainly used by larger companies, but since governmental agencies are included in that, our personal information may have been compromised.
No actions have been taken by our government at this point in time.
It's still the early stages. We should know more about who is impacted in the coming weeks, and if it's determined a crime was committed, there could be sanctions or other political fallout.
Now, even though the application that was hacked is typically used for larger organizations, there's still lots local small businesses can do to protect themselves online. Our local Small Business Development Center is ready to help. I'll have them linked on KOA.com. Always watching out for you, Colorado Springs. Colette Bordelon, News 5.